This area between the guest house and the perfect shed looks like a perfect spot for a little pole barn. I'm going to build a simple little pole barn. Let's get it. Step one, I pulled a string from the guest house to the perfect shed. I just like the thought of everything being lined up, and that's a nice straight plane to pull my measurements off of. I'll only need 4 holes for the 4 corner posts, so I can handle that with my post hole diggers. I'll be using 10-foot treated 4x4s, and I'll dig my holes 16 inches deep. I'll use scrap wood to cut wooden stakes and use scrap wood to support the posts. It makes all the difference if you get your posts plumb from both directions. I make sure to have an inch or 2 of extra hole around the poles so I have room to pack my concrete. I've always had really good success dry pouring concrete in this situation. I'll fill it about halfway so I can pack the bottom first. It always works better for me if I use a pointed stick to pack the bottom of the hole. Then I like to use the flat end of the stick to pack the top of the hole. I've got this pole exactly like I want it. Now 3 more. I'll do them all the same way. This little pole barn I'm building is 10 by 10. So I pull a measurement off the perfect shed that's already sitting there. Then I come back and get my 10-foot measurement here, and then get another measurement just to keep everything nice and square. All right, 2 down, 2 to go. Right, I got my 4 posts set. Yay! There they are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's go over this. Step 1, put your posts in. Measure a few times and get them nice and plumb and nice and straight and get it nice and square. I'm doing a 10 by 10. That's all I need. That's all I want. 10 by 10. So after I got my posts in, step 2, I put the bottom band on. And the way I'm going to do the bottom band is I'm going to end up with 3 of these deck screws. These are 3-inch deck screws. I'm going to use 3 of them and a 4-inch 5/16 lag bolt. So this floor is not going anywhere. Well, I can vision that. Oh yeah. It's gonna be just right. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna do my floor joists on 16-inch centers. So I'll mark on the red 16 and the next one 32 and the next one, all the red ones, 48, 64, and so on. I like to use a scrap piece of whatever I'm using for floor joists to make sure I get my hanger in the right position, and I attach my joist hangers with 4 1.5-inch deck screws. Like I said, I use 1.5-inch deck screws, and I put 4 in each hanger. With me putting my floor joists on 16-inch centers, the last one really came out to here. And I just thought, I'm just going to split the difference between these two, so I moved it over a little bit. In addition, I'll add 2 3-inch deck screws in the end of each floor joist. I was fortunate enough to get some used free 5/4 board for the flooring, and I'll attach it with 1 5/8" deck screws, and some of it had nails, and where the nails lined up, I used them. I suppose now's a good time to put a little support under the floor. 10 foot by 10, that's a pretty big span. I don't need it to be too springy, so I'll support it just a little bit. Well, it's time to remove these braces, but I think before I remove them, I'll go ahead and put the top band on. I'm using 2x4 to go around. I'm not gonna get on that roof. I'm gonna be servicing it from a step ladder off this floor. I won't have to get up on it, so 2x4 should be fine. If you're working alone, just use a little screw to hold one end of the board while you're messing with the other end. A few extra measurements to make sure my overhang is correct. My little pole barn is 10 by 10. I'm giving myself a foot overhang on the sides. So I gave myself about 6 inches of fall in 10 feet. The poles that are sticking over will have to be cut. So here we go. I use 3-inch deck screws for the framing. They're easy to take out if I change my mind on something, and I find they have plenty of shear strength. All right, the top band is on. If I thought that I would be standing on that metal on this roof, I wouldn't use 2x4s. I would use 2x6 at least. And I would put as many rafters up there as I have floor joists here if I was going to be standing on it. But I'm not going to stand on it. I've done this before. I made this same top for a chicken pen, and it was a big walk-in chicken pen. And 20 years later, I took it down. I had 0 problems with it. What I'm trying to do here is show the most basic, simplest way to put together a little shed that anybody can do. What I intend to do is put one more brace in the middle across, one more 2x4. My tin's going on top of that, and that's it. I feel safe now. I got the band up. I'm gonna go ahead and take the braces off. I should be fine. I notched that end board off. All right, looking good. I love using up this reclaimed or repurposed wood. It's plenty good. I don't care about the odd colors. I kind of like that. A chainsaw or a sawzall works to cut the top of these posts off. All right, I mentioned I was going to put 3-inch deck screws and a 4-inch 5/16 leg bolt. Now, we want to put that leg bolt, the extra support, on this one because this is the one that holds the floor joists. Not on this one because it is a floor joist. All right, with this 5/16 leg bolt, I'll use a 1/4 inch for the pilot hole. I could have used a washer on there, and you might want to do that, but I want to countersink mine a little bit, so no washer. Now, the way I'm doing this top is very unconventional. What I'm doing is the same thing as I had here. I trust that 5-foot span from here to here is enough to hold it. So all I had to do was screw along that edge and this edge. So over here I'm doing the same thing. This 10 foot gets divided in half. My metal runs this way. So I said all that to tell you that really the main supports is this front and that back, or that back right there. So that's where I'm going to put my lag bolts on these. Here's the one I was looking for. The very last one. The trick to any metal roof is to get the first piece perfect. If you do that, the rest is a breeze. I like to completely screw one down. I'm using the little self-tapping screws with rubber washers, and then move on to the next one. I grabbed this metal before it got in a dumpster. It was off a demolition job where they had to destroy a porch and build a new one. So, hey, it's a little dirty, but the price was right. Awesome, I've got the top on it. Now this tin is used, so I will caulk from the inside these holes. I've done that, it lasts for years and years and years. I wouldn't want to do it on a house. In this situation, it's fine, no problem. I might add another board on the very end, you know, going right here from front to back, because that is bound to flop a little bit. I think that might be smart. I intend on putting a back wall on this thing. I'm gonna do it very simply and frame it very, very light. Let's get it. I like to tack the plywood in place with my brad nailer, and then I'll come back. That's 3/8 inch plywood, so I'll come back with 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. These are 1.25 inches, screws and just attach it better. All right, just adding those extra pieces of scrap wood I had to cover the seams, tightened it up, got rid of the warpage. All our outbuildings have this faux board and batten. I use these mini 1x3s and it gives me the look I want. So I'm going to do a half wall right here, well, all the way to the top, but it's only going to be 6 feet from the corner. 6 of the 10 foot is going to be covered. That will put this wood burner in a corner, which will I think it'll just make it, I won't have to worry about the wind, and I just think it'll be better. So I love this thing. I like the way it's going. Here we go. Okay, that worked out well. I like it. Ooh, I guess next I'll be hooking up the wood burner. Yep, the little pole barn looks good. I'm gonna call it, for now, complete. The sun is setting in your eyes. It makes me cry every time we have to say goodbye. It's okay, we're alright. Make amends to an end, for we all get too old, for we slip into the mold of the universe of life and light and God above. Right. I have butchered my way a hole through the metal on the roof. About 25 years ago, I discovered that if I use silicone to seal around a stovepipe, when it gets hot, it turns brittle like glass, and it lasts for years. Now, I wouldn't do it on my house, but on a little shed like this, it's perfect. I used this old porcelain tabletop that was, man, I've had it 25 years. I just used it for kind of a backdrop to keep the direct heat off the wood. All right, let's crank up a fire. The little pole barn is really simple to build and very handy. If you wanted to, you could frame up and cover all the sides and put a door in it and windows and whatnot, but this is what I needed right here. It's really a simple build. Anyone actually can build this little pole barn. Give her a shot. If you need some kind of outdoor shed area, well, this is a good way to do it. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.